Fine. So we'll start with the basic definition related to the term redox. So the term redox refers to a reaction where both reduction and oxidation takes place simultaneously. So if I talk about the very basic definition of oxidation, how do you define it?
Or gain of oxygen,
Gain of oxygen or
loss of electrons, loss of hydrogen,
loss of
loss
hydrogen, loss of electrons. Very
loss
good.
of electropositive element,
Correct.
and gain of electronegative element.
Perfect. So if you talk about the very basic definitions regarding the term oxidation, it is adding oxygen or removing hydrogen. Let's take some examples to understand them. So if I have magnesium, it burns in oxygen to give you magnesium oxide. So here magnesium is added with oxygen, so it undergoes oxidation. Likewise, carbon can also burn with oxygen to give the carbon dioxide. On the other hand, we can say methane or any hydrocarbon on burning in oxygen would give क्या देगा?
CO2 plus H2O.
CO2 plus H2O. So the third one is also an oxidation, but along with oxidation, if you observe from the methane, the hydrogen is also getting removed.
Loss.
So either we say oxidation is addition of oxygen, or we can also say it is removal of hydrogen. So we have one more reaction H2S plus Cl2 which gives HCl and sulfur. So यहाँ पर the hydrogen is getting removed and instead of oxygen now I have added to chlorine. So यहाँ पर when we talk about oxygen, why restrict ourselves to only oxygen element? So the chemist thought that oxygen is a highly electronegative element. So on the other hand, instead of adding oxygen as the definition, you just generalize it and say addition of an electronegative element. So the later definition was modified as addition of electronegative element. So likewise, अभी कोई भी element अगर हम लेते हैं, magnesium, it can add with fluorine, it can add with chlorine, it can add with sulfur, and they can form their respective ionic compounds. Just the first one would give what?
MgF.
MgF. No,
No, Mg2F.
no.
MgF. Mm.
So how do you recognize the formula? उसका पहले concept समझो. Magnesium has a charge of what?
+2.
+2. And fluoride?
-1.
So how do you write the formula if the
Equal
valencies are not same?
to like cross like MgF2 basically.
Correct. So
Yeah.
never mug up the formulas. You should always understand the valencies or the charge and apply the crisscross rule. So this will give you Mg1F2, that's magnesium fluoride. Likewise, magnesium chloride would be MgCl2. And the third would give magnesium sulfide. Now what is sulfide ka charge? Keep responding, kids. Sulfide, what is the charge on a sulfide?
-2.
-2. So +2 and -2. Is this balanced?
Yeah.
That is why this could be directly taken as the formula. No need to do the crisscross. So in short, oxidation is defined as a very basic definition you already would know, addition of oxygen. On the other hand, this is related to the definition as removal of hydrogen, and these reactions were now related with addition of any oxygen की
Electronegative
जगह
element.
Negative element.
electronegative element. Now earlier the hydrogen was considered as an electropositive element. Now tell me, is hydrogen only electropositive?
No.
No.
Then
When it reacts with a non-metal, then it's electropositive, and when it reacts with a metal, it's electronegative.
super. Meaning you might have studied that hydrogen has a dual behavior. It can behave as electropositive as well as electronegative element. Now, during the classical idea of redox reaction, the hydrogen was only considered as electropositive. उस टाइम पे इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी नेचर या बिहेवियर ऑफ हाइड्रोजन वाज नॉट डिस्कवर्ड. So with regards to that, according to classical definition, oxidation was also defined as removal of only electropositive element. अब देखो इससे आगे क्या प्रॉब्लम आने वाला है, we'll discuss. Removal of electropositive element. So there is one reaction which is important, K4FeCN6. Have you seen this compound?
No.
Anyone?
No. No, sir.
Okay. Now this particular compound basically with a square bracket is called a complex compound. Okay? Just remember that this type of compounds, whenever you come across, it's a complex compound. And in this complex compound, the Fe has a charge of +2. Now when I talk about iron, it has two variable valencies. What are they called?
Ferrous and ferric.
Superb. So there is a terminology for the metals having different variable oxidation state, that is us and ik. So iron in the lower oxidation state is called
Is that
ferrous, and in the higher oxidation state is called ferric.
correct?
Can you name some other elements?
Copper,
Copper. And what are the valencies for copper?
+1, +2.
Superb. So +1 would be called
Cupric
cuprous
and cupric.
and
Cupric.
cupric. Very good. Or can you recollect?
Tin,
Then
Yes, someone said tin.
stannous and stannic.
Superb. Stannous and stannic. So what would be stannous charge?
Stannous would be +2,
Hmm?
and stannic would be +4.
Yes. Now you need to remember that the us and ik is not always +2, +3 like iron, ferrous, and ferric. Okay. So there are some elements with 2 and 3, some with 1, 2, and some with 2, 4. इसका भी logic है, इसका भी concept है, which we will understand in the later part of the chapter. ठीक है? अभी के लिए you just remember what are the charges and what are they called. So tin के लिए stannous and stannic. Even lead is having two valencies called. Lead के लिए
2 plus and 3 plus.
ना.
+2 and +4.
Yeah, because lead comes under the tin family only. So जैसे tin का 2 and 4 है, even the lead is 2 and 4, which are called plumbous and plumbic. Lead is having a symbol Pb and they are referred as plumbous and plumbic. ठीक है?
mercury,
Sorry?
mercury,
Yes. Silver, mercury, again, they have variable oxidation states. And what are they?
+1, +2.
Yes. Silver has +1, +2, argentus and argentic. But this one is very unstable, so commonly not known. Mercury के लिए
+1 and +2.
yes, and would be called
Mercurous and mercury.
mercurous and mercuric. Superb. So this is the list which is very important to remember. Okay, I'll share the PPT with you all after the session. So you can write it, whatever extra or whatever part is not there in the synopsis. So synopsis may, if you see the reactions, whatever I'm discussing, they are already there. So here just understand and then you can make your own notes after I share the PPT. Fine?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So coming back to this reaction, so I was discussing that there is a compound K4FeCN6 where the Fe has the charge of +2. Based on that, this particular compound is given the name as potassium ferrocyanide. Potassium ferrocyanide. Now, if the K4FeCN6 is added with H2O2, what is this called?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. Then the product of the reaction is K3FeCN6. Now here the Fe comes in the charge of +3. And what is charge +3 of iron called?
Ferric.
Ferric. That's how we name this compound as potassium ferricyanide. Potassium ferricyanide. Is the logic clear?
Yeah.
Now, if you observe the reaction carefully, from the K4FeCN6 to the hydrogen peroxide, it is changing to K3FeCN6. What's happening in the conversion? K4 से K3 हो रहा है. What's happening?
Its oxidation state is increasing.
Yeah, I have not come up to the oxidation state. If you are knowing about this concept, fine. But with respect to the classical idea, you observe that K4 is changing to
K3.
K3. Matlab there is one potassium which is
Oh.
removed, na?
Yeah.
So that is why this particular reaction could be now defined as removal of electropositive element. In short, if I just summarize, then oxidation have four classical definition. One is addition of oxygen, which you can relate as equivalently addition of electronegative element. Then removal of hydrogen, which can be related equivalently as removal of electropositive element. Are you all clear with the four definitions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ayan,
Yes, sir.
can you define the reduction reactions? Four definitions similar to what I discussed.
So addition of hydrogen and
Hmm.
electropositive elements and
Perfect.
removal of oxygen and electronegative elements.
Superb. Addition of hydrogen, which is equivalent to adding electropositive element, and removal of oxygen, which is equivalent to removal of electronegative element. Understood the concept?
Yeah.
Okay. Now moving further, if I take one reaction, let's say sodium added with hydrogen, giving you the product as NaH, which is called sodium hydride. Sodium hydride. Okay. Gopika,
Yes, sir.
so if you apply the classical definition, can you tell me what is sodium undergoing and what is hydrogen undergoing?
Sodium is undergoing reduction
Because
because hydrogen is being added to it,
super.
and I think hydrogen is undergoing oxidation because sodium is an electropositive element.
Okay, so what is addition of
Electronegative.
sodium is electropositive or electronegative? All
Hmm.
metals are सारे metals क्या होते हैं? हाँ?
Electropositive.
So what is addition of electropositive element called?
Reduction.
Reduction.
Reduction. So if you observe this closely, sodium is added with hydrogen. As per classical definition, it's undergoing reduction. And hydrogen
Yes.
is added with sodium, which is again the definition of reduction. मतलब क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर? Both the elements are undergoing.
Reduction.
Is that possible?
No.
No.
Because redox term says that wherever there is reduction, there has to be
Oxidation.
oxidation. and vice versa. जहां पर oxidation होगा, there has to be
Reduction.
reduction. So here both the elements undergoing reduction is definitely a false thing. मतलब ये problem number 1 है. Or a problem. If we talk about metals, you must have learnt about the statement that metals have a tendency to undergo. Metals have the tendency to
Oxidation.
lose electrons and undergo oxidation. I think ये statement सबने पढ़ा है.
Yeah.
Do you all agree? मतलब there are two problems with this reaction. Problem number 1, metals are undergoing reduction, which is impossible. Both the elements are undergoing reduction, which is again simply by oxidation, vice versa. The classical idea failed to justify this particular reaction as a redox, and that is the reason it came up with the new idea, which is now called as modern idea of redox. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So you need to
Yeah.
understand the history, why there was a different approach for the redox which was required. So classical idea failed, and because of that, the modern idea existed. Now, the modern idea is related to the concept of electron transfer. And SKB basic definitions you already know, but we'll just dig into the details of them. So you are well versed with the concept of oil and rig.
Yeah.
What is that?
Loss of electrons and gain of electrons. Oxidation
Yes,
is loss, reduction is gain.
perfect. Everyone, oxidation is loss of electrons, reduction is gain of electrons. Now tell me, whenever electrons are lost by any element, what happens to its charge?
Its charge becomes positive.
Superb. Matlab, with the loss of electron, the element forms a cation,
Yeah.
and with the gain of electron,
It forms an anion.
it forms an anion. Okay? Is this clear to everyone? If anyone has doubt, please ask. I'm assuming that this much part is known. If someone is having a problem, I will explain. Yes. And everyone has to respond in between whenever something is asked. Please.
Yeah.
Only Vidhi is responding. Cameras off है इसका मतलब ये नहीं तुम सो रहे हो. Nakul,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
you awake?
Yes, sir, I'm awake.
Very good. So please respond in between.
Yes, sir.
Great. So let's take a very simple example of sodium added with chlorine. It gives
NaCl.
sodium chloride NaCl. Okay, if I balance of the reaction, 2Na plus Cl2 would give 2NaCl. Simple balanced reaction.
Yeah.
Now, through the modern idea, if I first talk about sodium, what is the charge on sodium on the left hand side here?
There is no charge.
So what will you assign?
0.
0.
0. So any element in its uncombined state will always have a charge of 0 because it is in neutral state. Okay? So this charge assigned would be equal to 0. Similarly, what is the charge on chlorine?
0.
0. So here comes one very important rule that any element in its uncombined state, free state, neutral state, will always have a charge assigned equal to 0. I call it as bachelor state. मतलब सोडियम क्लोरीन जब तक बैचलर है किसी और के साथ कंबाइन नहीं है हैव अ चार्ज 0. अब जैसे ही दोनों मिल जाते हैं दे आर इन द कंबाइंड स्टेट.
Yeah.
Now what is the charge you assign for NaCl?
+1 and -1.
+1 and -1. That's the famous rock salt, sodium chloride, and broken down into ions as Na plus and Cl minus.
Minus.
Now just observe, sodium from 0 is changing to a cation.
Yeah.
And how does a cation form?
By losing electrons.
Super. By loss of electron. Do you all agree?
Yes.
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 And chlorine is changing from 0 to -1. It's forming an anion.
Mm-hmm. By
So
gaining
there will be
electrons.
Gain of electrons.
gain of
Yeah.
electrons, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, through the oil rig definition, we can understand that sodium is undergoing. Sodium is undergoing,
Oxidation.
Oxidation.
the oxidation
Oxidation.
is lost, na? Sodium
Yeah.
is undergoing oxidation,
Oxidation.
and
Reduction.
chlorine is undergoing
Reduction.
reduction. Fine. So first of all, I can just break down this reaction into two reactions now. One, the oxidation part, and other, the reduction part. So we call the two reactions broken down as oxidation half reaction, RXN is reaction, and reduction half reaction, oxidation half and reduction half reaction. So which part of the reaction was undergoing oxidation?
So sodium.
Any sodium
Na.
to, yeah.
Now sodium is changing to Na plus. So how much is the charge increase?
It's increased by 1.
1.
1. So it will be losing how many electrons?
1.
1.
Can I say sodium loses 1 electron to form Na plus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the other hand, we have chlorine existing as a diatomic molecule, Cl2,
Yeah.
diatomic. है ना? So it is changing to Cl minus by gaining how many electrons?
1. No. 2.
2.
Now,
2.
when I talk about chlorine on the right hand side, there is only one chlorine. So
Yeah.
one chlorine would gain one electron to form one Cl minus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
in the diatomic molecule, I have how many chlorine atoms?
2.
2.
2.
So should I add one electron or two electron?
2.
2.
So Cl2 is added or gaining two electrons to form two Cl negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so these are two half reactions which I have just broken down from the above reaction. Do you understand this?
Yes.
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 Now, if you observe, sodium is losing only one electron, but the Cl2 is gaining two electrons, meaning the
Hmm.
loss and gain is not balanced.
Yes.
So this violates the law of conservation of energy, which
Hmm.
states that energy can
Energy
neither
loss is,
be,
Created or
yeah,
can
created
neither.
or destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can only
so
be
it can be
transferred.
just transferred
Transferred.
from one
Transfer.
form to another.
Yeah.
तो यहाँ
Yeah.
पर if one electron is lost, one electron should have been gained.
Hmm.
और वैसे वैसा अगर दो इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन हो रहा है तो दो इलेक्ट्रॉन लॉस होना चाहिए.
Hmm.
To balance of the loss and gain, I should multiply the above equation, meaning the sodium equation, by 2. So now two
2.
sodium atoms would lose two electrons, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And would form two Na plus.
Hmm.
That's how we get this particular balancing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And half plus half, if I add, I will get what? Half plus half?
1.
1.
1. So that is the complete reaction which I'll get after adding. And when I add up the reactions, whatever is common on the left and right should get cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything which I can cancel?
2E minus.
Yes. So we understand through this that the number of electrons lost in a redox has to be equal to the number of electrons
Gained.
gained. That is how we say the redox would be a balanced reaction. Now from the left hand side, arrow ke pehle, you have 2Na plus Cl2. And from the right, arrow ke baad mein, we have 2Na plus and 2Cl minus. Isn't that equivalent to 2 moles of NaCl?
Yeah.
Yes.
So of course I'm getting the same equation because इसी को मैंने दो में divide किया. If I add, I have to get the original reaction back. Is this clear up till here, everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, From this, we come to the modern idea or the modern definition. Through the modern definition, we say oxidation is a reaction which involves what?
Can you repeat the question?
I said from the modern idea through this explanation, we can define oxidation as a reaction which involves
Loss
Loss
of
of electrons.
loss of
electron.
electrons, and we could define reduction as a reaction which involves
Gain of electrons.
Yeah.
gain of electron. That's what the oil rig I have just reiterated, right?
Yes.
Now, observe karo one more thing. In this reaction, sodium is changing from 0 to +1.
Hmm.
And what's happening with respect to the charge? Is it increased or decreased?
Increasing.
Increase.
So can we also say that whenever electrons are lost, the charge
Increases.
increases? Now onwards, the charge word is not going to be used. Modern idea में इस charge को या valency को, whatever normally you say, is replaced by a modern term called
Oxidation state.
oxidation number or the oxidation state. Oxidation number or the oxidation state. So now your language should slightly change. Through this reaction, we see the sodium is having an increase in its oxidation number,
Yes.
and chlorine is having
A decrease
in
oxidation number.
superb. So oxidation means loss of electrons, which is equivalently saying increase in oxidation number. Reduction is a gain of electron. Whenever gain happens, there is always a
Decrease in oxidation number.
decrease in oxidation number. Okay? So I will just summarize this with a very simple analogy, and that is called lift analogy. So when you travel in a lift, and let's say you are at the ground floor of the building, and this is the top floor, this is the bottom floor. So when the lift goes up, you say up, you say it's undergoing
Oxidation.
oxidation. And when the lift goes down, matlab you are actually going to the bottom level or you are getting reduced. So simple
Reduced.
definition, whenever there is a
Reduction.
decrease, you are getting reduced, meaning this is undergoing reduction.
Yeah.
ठीक है, तो आज के बाद जब भी लिफ्ट में रहो, just redefine this modern idea of redox that lift going up is oxidation, lift going down is reduction.
Reduction.
Because this is the most important part of the whole chapter. Fine.
Yeah.
Now the modern idea came because of the failure to explain this reaction, sodium and hydrogen wala.
Yes.
So let me take this reaction and through the modern definition, let's define the redox of this. So I will rewrite the reaction of sodium and hydrogen reacting together to form sodium hydride. So I have 2Na plus H2 give you 2NaH. Now, can someone tell me the charge on sodium, rather the oxidation number now?
0.
What is the rule?
The uncombined state an element has an oxidation
Just say
number.
bachelor rule.
Yeah, bachelor's.
Bachelor rule says that any element in the uncombined free neutral state has the oxidation number equal to 0. Even
0.
hydrogen,
0.
Same 0.
0. And sodium hydride mein Na will get
+1.
and H will get
-1.
-1.
-1. Okay? Now, Ruhi,
Yeah.
tell me, with respect to the modern idea, what is sodium undergoing and why?
Sodium is undergoing gain of electrons.
Gain of electrons.
So it's reduction.
Metals can't undergo reduction, Ruhi.
Oh, oxidation, sorry.
What do you observe? See, you are in a lift at the ground floor. You are going
Yeah.
up. So अभी मैंने लिफ्ट का एनालॉजी बताया ना रोही.
Yeah,
Going up is called what?
oxidation,
And going down is called?
reduction.
Again, I'm just repeating this. And lift का एनालॉजी simple way में आपको समझ में आना चाहिए. This part is oxidation, down is reduction. Will you remember this?
Yeah,
Okay. So just observe the charge, and through the 0 to +1, you can be sure about saying sodium is undergoing
oxidation,
and hydrogen is going down from 0 to -1. It's undergoing.
reduction.
So is the modern idea giving you a clear concept about the redox now?
Yeah,
Okay, so forget about the classical idea and just refresh the redox with only two things. That is loss of electron, which you already aware of, that is oil. And another thing, to the loss of electron, you always go up. You always go up. Up is oxidation. Up is oxidation. Down is reduction. Are you all clear with this? Is oxidation, down is reduction. Yes or no?
yes. Yeah,
Great. So the problem with the classical idea is now resolved via the modern idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me take some more examples through the modern idea. H2S plus Cl2 gives HCl and sulfur. First of all, we are supposed to assign the oxidation number, or simple terms में आप जो charge बोलते हो, and then we have to identify which is undergoing oxidation and which is undergoing reduction. So let me ask Ria. Yes, Ria. Can you tell me the charge assigned to H2S compound? What would be H and what would be S?
S would be -2.
Superb. It's a sulfide, right?
Yes.
And H
+1.
+1. So just crisscross and you get sulfur pe -2 and H pe +1.
Yes.
Yes. Next, fluorine.
0.
Say 0 as per bachelor's rule.
Yes.
So you remember the rule well. 0 as per
Bachelor.
bachelor's rule. Fine. Again, HCl. Sorry. Breakdown.
+1 and -1.
Superb. And sulfur.
0 as per bachelor.
Superb. Fine. So charge assign karna, everyone is okay. Okay,
Yeah.
who's this Zoom user? Zoom user without the name. Zoom user कौन है? If you don't respond, I'll remove from the meeting. Huh? Zoom user. I have removed. पता नहीं कौन है. ठीक है. Next, Prasham. Prasham, tell me the concept of redox applying the modern idea. Which element undergoes oxidation? Which element undergoes reduction? Quick.
So chlorine undergoes reduction.
Why?
So addition of hydrogen.
Addition of?
Hydrogen.
You are still applying the classical idea. Now forget the classical idea. I have told to apply the modern idea. अभी तक समझा नहीं आपको? Prasham,
Yes.
what is the modern idea with respect to charge or the oxidation number? If the oxidation number goes up, up is
Oxidation.
And down is?
Redox.
सो रहा है क्या तू प्रशम? Speak loudly, I'm not able to hear you. Hello?
No, sir.
Prasham, are you there?
Yes.
So जोर से बोल. Have you understood what I said now? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so tell me what's happening with regards to sulfur, chlorine, hydrogen.
Sulfur is changing from -2 to 0
Superb. So it's going up or down?
by
Down.
sorry.
तू लिफ्ट में कभी ट्रेवल किया है क्या प्रशम? हाँ हाँ या ना बोल.
Yes, sir.
ये है ना, तो ये 0 है, ये -2 है, -2 0 के नीचे आता है, बेसमेंट बोलते हैं. और ये मान लो टॉप फ्लोर है, +5 +6 जो भी, बराबर. तो सल्फर जा रहा है -2 से 0, ऊपर जा रहा है कि नीचे जा रहा है बता.
ऊपर यार.
तो क्या बोलेगा, ऊपर जाने को क्या बोलते हैं?
Oxidation.
ठीक है, नींद खुल गई तेरी अभी? सिर्फ आके ऐसे ही बैठना नहीं है, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन. एंड क्लोरीन इज चेंजिंग फ्रॉम,
0 to -1.
मतलब नीचे जा रहा है कि ऊपर जा रहा है? तो क्या बोलेगा?
Reduction.
एंड व्हाट कैन यू कमेंट ऑन हाइड्रोजन?
Change नहीं होगा.
So ऐसा element which is not undergoing any change in the oxidation number is called spectator ion. क्या बोलते हैं? Spectator ion. ठीक है? Are you clear with this?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, next. If I have Cr2O7 2 negative, are you aware of this anion? Okay, are you aware of K2Cr2O7?
Dichromate.
Yeah.
Dichromate.
Dichromate.
Yes, it's potassium dichromate. So if I just remove the potassium ion, then it will be just called as a dichromate ion. I'm writing the ionic form. Then there is Fe2 plus. What is that called?
Iron.
Ferrous.
Iron nahi hai. You should say it as ferrous.
Yeah.
Okay. Ferrous.
If you want to understand chemistry, you should learn the language of chemistry. What do I mean by the language? Looking at Fe, you call it as iron because it's in bachelor stage. But if you look at Fe2 plus, you shouldn't say iron, you should say it as ferrous, and Fe3 plus should be called
Ferric.
इन तीनों का अलग नाम है. आप आयन 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 बोलोगे तो किसको रेफर कर रहे हो? प्रॉब्लम होगा कि नहीं होगा? बोलो.
होगा.
ठीक है, इसीलिए लर्न द लैंग्वेज, लर्न द लैंग्वेज. आई ऑलवेज से दिस थिंग इन द क्लास आल्सो, लर्न द लैंग्वेज. आयन फेरस फेरिक, तो क्या बोलोगे इसको?
Ferrous.
फेरस. नाउ इट चेंजेस टू Cr3 plus. So chromium का 3 plus is called chrome kick, same as ferric वाला 3 plus. Fe3 plus would be called
Ferric.
okay. So you're not supposed to understand what is the reaction here. You're supposed to understand the modern idea of redox here. ठीक है, तो रिएक्शन कैसे आया फिलहाल के लिए नहीं समझना है. अब Cr2O7 2 negative when we write, is the 2 negative charge on chromium or oxygen or the whole?
On the whole compound.
On the whole compound.
whole.
Okay, so this type of species are generally referred as polyatomic ion. because this is made up of many atoms, na? Many matlab 2 chromium, 7 oxygen makes this ion. But if I just write Na plus singly, so this is a single atom ka ion. What should it be called?
Monoatomic?
Monoatomic ion. है ना? एक ही एटम का आयन है तो इसको मोनोएटॉमिक आयन बोलेंगे.
So Fe2 plus is monoatomic ion.
Yes, these are monoatomic. ये भी monoatomic है, ये भी monoatomic है, Cl minus भी monoatomic है, Mg2 plus भी monoatomic है. कितने एटम का आयन दिख रहा है ये?
Yeah.
Single, ना? So it's monoatomic ion. But if I talk about sulfate, SO4 2 negative. If I say phosphate, PO4 3 negative. If I
Polyatomic
say
ion.
ClO4 minus, ये सब के सब क्या है?
Polyatomic ions.
So are you clear with the difference of the name mono versus poly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, so in the polyatomic ion, I don't know the oxidation number of chromium in the dichromate ion. So what we do is, if I talk about the -2, can I say it is sum of oxidation number of all the atoms?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can I say 2 atoms of chromium plus 7 atoms of oxygen makes up the total charge of -2? Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, out of the chromium and oxygen, oxygen here commonly exists in what oxidation number?
-2.
Because generally these are all oxide compounds. Oxygen का most common oxidation number combined state में -2 है, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just simple math है यहाँ पर. 2 chromium plus 7 times -2 would be equal to -2. So what is 7 into -2?
-14.
-14.
It goes on other side, what happens?
Plus 14.
Plus
And
14.
plus 14 and -2 would give
12.
12.
plus 12.
And
Okay,
then 12
default
upon
plus
2.
लिखना. So chromium divide by 2 करके will get
Plus
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 6.
6.
This is the oxidation number of chromium per atom. Why I'm saying per atom? Because 2 chromium has a charge of plus 12. 1 chromium per atom has a charge plus 6. Do you all understand up till here, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back to the reaction now. This chromium I can assign plus 6. This is monoatomic. It is already having its oxidation number plus 2. Even this are all monoatomic ions, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Ayan,
Yes, sir.
apply the concept of redox and tell me which element is undergoing oxidation and which element is undergoing reduction.
So chromium is undergoing oxidation.
Ayan, how can you be so foolish? तुमको लिफ्ट का एनालॉजी समझता है कि नहीं समझता है? Have you traveled in a lift or not? Tell me one thing. So if you are on the 6th floor and you are coming to 3rd floor, are you going down or you are going up?
Going down, so it will be reduction. Yeah.
Don't test my patience with respect to this simple concept. Are you all clear or should I explain again?
No.
It's clear.
Going up, just repeat with me. Going up is,
Oxidation.
going down is.
Reduction.
Reduction.
So do you understand the number line over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From plus 6 to plus 3, it's going down. या सिंपल लिफ्ट का जो एनालॉजी दिया है बस वो याद रखो और कुछ याद रखना नहीं है. And ये भी नहीं समझता है तो लिफ्ट में आज खेलो पूरा दिन, पूरा रिडॉक्स क्लियर हो जाएगा. ऊपर जाते जाते बोलने का ऑक्सीडेशन हो रहा है, नीचे जाते जाते बोलने का रिडक्शन हो रहा है. ओके
Okay.
प्रशम अयान, तुम्हारे लिए स्पेशल असाइनमेंट है, आज ये करना है आपको. अब बोलना नहीं बिल्डिंग में लिफ्ट नहीं है तो बाजू की बिल्डिंग में जाना. फाइन.
Yes, sir. So
ओके हाँ बोल बोल.
so it'll go oxidation.
हाँ what will undergo oxidation? Sorry.
Iron.
Iron. So chromium is going down from +6 to +3, so it's undergoing,
Reduction.
and iron is undergoing
Oxidation.
because it's going up. That's
Up.
it. Nothing more is required till here.
So I
Okay?
have a question.
Yes.
In the previous question, can you just explain again why H plus is the spectator ion? Like I know
Any
it's not
element.
involved in the reaction, but I don't understand how.
There's nothing
Yeah.
happening to H plus.
Yes. It is
Or
just
like because its
changing
charge is
as it
staying the
is.
constant. So because its
It's the
charge is the
charge is
constant, that's why.
constant.
Yeah.
The
So any element which doesn't undergo any change in the oxidation number, whether you write or don't write, it is fine. Meaning, this same reaction, if I just remove the spectator ions, I call it कचरा ions. मैं कचरा ions बोलता हूँ, मतलब इसको लिखो या ना लिखो, फर्क
नहीं
नहीं
पड़ेगा.
पड़ेगा. So instead of H2S, what is undergoing change is only the sulfur with a
yeah.
-2. Chlorine is Cl2 0. Then on the other hand, there is H plus which is not undergoing any change. Remove the kachra ion. I write 2Cl minus
2Cl minus
and
plus.
S0. Now what I have done, I have refined the reaction, removing the spectator ions or the kachra ions, and now I can clearly observe the redox over here, where sulfur is going up, 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 is undergoing,
Oxidation.
Oxidation.
and chlorine going down, down, down,
Reduction.
reduction. So that is what is the spectator ion concept. Whether you write or don't write, it's fine because they don't show any change.
Thank you.
Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's understand some more examples. If I have sulfuric acid, what is the total charge on this molecule?
0.
0, because it's a neutral molecule.
Yeah.
So if I just add up the oxidation number of whole thing, it should be equated to
0.
0.
So the rule is summation oxidation number of all atoms in a
Neutral
na,
compound.
Neutral compound.
neutral compound, neutral molecule should be equal to
0.
0. So if I just want to frame the equation, how many hydrogen atoms do you see?
2.
2.
So can I say 2 hydrogen atoms plus sulfur kitna hai?
1.
1.
1 plus,
4
For
oxygen.
oxygen.
and the sum should be equal to
0.
0.
0. Now in this acid, what will be the charge on hydrogen?
Bad
Plus.
gas.
Plus 1.
+1, and oxygen
Minus 2.
and sulfur we don't know as of now because it's not a common element. है ना? So saying that hydrogen is +1, sulfur not known, oxygen is -2, I can substitute the values.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the +2 and -8 becomes -6.
Minus 6. And on that side,
Sulfur
plus 6.
would become +6.
Plus 6.
So if you're asked the oxidation number of sulfur, then this calculation gives you sulfur equal to +6. Understood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then sulfur का एक और acid है H2SO3. What is the name of this acid?
Oh, sulfurous.
Correct. Sulfurous
Rust.
acid. The previous one is of course the famous one.
Sulfuric acid.
Uric
Uric
acid.
acid.
Okay, now do the calculation. Someone help me with the calculation. Yes, Gopika.
Yes. So 2 hydrogens are 2 into 1.
Okay, I'll directly now substitute the charge only. Fine. 2
Yeah.
into +1.
Sulfur we don't know, so S, and oxygen is 3 into -2 is equal
Total
to
is
0.
super. What is
So
the
that would be -6 plus 2, which will be -4, and we go on that side, it will become +4.
perfect? Okay. Now observation, sulfuric acid में the sulfur was coming out to be +6 and sulfurous acid में it's coming out to be +4. Can you derive any conclusion from this?
Sulfur has a variable valency.
Perfect. And why the name is differing as ik and us? Can you
Because
observe that?
less oxidation number and higher oxidation number.
Number, yeah.
Verb. So us and ik ka concept was the same for metals and it is also the same for the non-metals.
Non-metal.
So the us is any compound in its lower oxidation number and ik is in higher oxidation number. Yes. कुछ doubt था किसी को?
So sulfur has variable oxidation states basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sulfur and many other non-metals also have the variable oxidation number. As we progress, you'll learn about that. But now what I have shown, just understand the conclusion from there. Okay.
Yeah.
So us is a lower oxidation number. It was same for the metals also, right? We discussed over here. ये देखो us हमेशा lower होता है, एक हमेशा higher होता है every time, whether it is for metals or the non-metals. Understood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, through the sulfuric acid, if I remove the H plus, it's a dibasic acid. दो H plus निकालता है. So what is the anion of sulfuric acid?
SO4-2. It's a polyatomic ion.
Superb. And what is the name for that?
Sulfate.
SO4-2 को क्या बोलते हैं? Sulfate.
Sulfate. Yeah.
And what is the anion for H2SO3?
SO3-1.
ना, दो H
It's
plus
called-
निकला ना?
Oh, sorry, yeah, SO3 2-. It's sulfite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more observation. Sulfurous acid का anion always ends with the word ite. And sulfuric acid या any acid का anion always ends with
Ite.
Once again, us का salt or the anion always ends with the word ite and ik वाले का always ends with the word ate. I can take many examples now. Nitrous acid का anion is
Nitrite.
nitrite. Okay, what is nitrous acid formula?
HNO. No, sorry.
HNO?
3. Yeah.
हाँ, HNO3 is nitric acid. मैंने
Yeah,
nitrous
that's
पूछा.
nitric. I'm not sure.
HNO2.
मैं एक और शॉर्टकट ट्रिक आपको बताता हूँ. HNO3 is nitric acid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One oxygen less would be its nitrous.
But how do you know that one oxygen? Why can't it be 2 oxygen left?
This is a general rule. So if you look at sulfuric, it's 4. And if you look at sulfurous, it's 3. Do you observe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So likewise, HNO3, if you know nitric, तो मैंने पूछा nitrous, तो आप क्या बोलोगे?
HNO2.
HNO2.
है ना? अब
Hmm.
nitrous
There
acid का
always
जो
one oxygen.
yes, in most of the cases, जहाँ पे नहीं है, वहाँ पे आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. See, these general rules are applicable to 95% of the things. 5% में कहीं पे कुछ exceptions आते हैं, उसके भी reason है. Exceptions are not like मन चाहा तो 2 oxygen कम किया, मन चाहा तो 1 oxygen. It's not like that. There are some rules and some reasons related to that, but the general thing you can always remember. 1 oxygen less is the us acid formula. Fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
So HNO2 is nitrous acid, so NO2 minus will be called
Nitrite.
Nitrite.
HNO3 is nitric acid, so NO3 minus would be called
Nitrate.
Nitrate.
super. Okay, H3PO4.
This is hydrogen.
Phosphoric acid, I think.
Yeah,
It's a
phosphoric
famous
acid.
phosphoric acid. ठीक है,
Yeah.
नहीं पता है तो याद रखना है. It's a phosphoric acid. So if I remove 3H plus from here, 3H plus, I would get PO4 3 negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is this called?
Phosphate.
phosphate. So are you relating the concept over here? This is
Yeah.
phosphoric acid, and the anion of that is called
Eight. Phosphate.
phosphate. Likewise, if I have phosphorus acid, it would be called
Phosphate.
phosphite. And if you observe, the phosphorus acid has a formula
PO3.
H3PO3, and the phosphite would be
Yeah.
PO3 minus 3. समझ में आ रहा है relation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you understand the simple things, then you can apply it for many other things. It's that simple. एक और एग्जांपल लेते हैं. HClO4 is called perchloric acid. Perchloric acid. ये शायद नाम नहीं पता हो तो मैं लिख के बता रहा हूँ. Perchloric acid. But through this, if I now ask, what will be ClO4 minus 1 would called?
Ferrochloride.
अरे बाबा, एक की जगह 8 लगाओ.
Eight.
एसिड उड़ाओ, 8 लगाओ. Can you tell me the name?
Ferrochloric acid.
पैरो किधर है? पर है, पर.
Perchlorate.
Oh, perchlorate.
नाम समझ में आया?
Yeah.
अच्छा, अब अगर मैंने बोला कि परक्लोरिक एसिड ये है, तो इसका क्लोरस एसिड क्या होगा?
Ite.
Height.
आइट.
Perchlorite.
परक्लोराइड. ठीक है, मतलब जो भी नाम है, रिलेशन क्लियर है अभी एवरीवन?
Yes.
ठीक है.
Sir,
And
can you repeat once?
what? This part?
This part.
Yes. HClO4 name is perchloric acid. So if I remove the H plus from here, the anion will be called perchlorate, as per the rule that the IC acid word should be replaced by the word ate. So whatever is ic acid, that would change to ate. समझा? And
Yes,
us
sir.
acid में you always replace by the word ite. So this rule is a very, very simple rule for giving the names. So if you know the general rule, you can name hundreds and thousands of compound without mugging it up. So 10th में ये सब mug up करवाया था ना? सल्फ्यूरिक H2SO4 होता है, सल्फ्यूरस H2SO3 होता है.
Yeah.
अब मैंने फॉर्मूला का कॉन्सेप्ट भी बताया, ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर से लिंक भी किया, उनके अनायंस के ऊपर भी बात किया. Look at the relations. It is very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hmm.
Now, if sulfate is coming from H2SO4, and if I now ask you directly, what is S ka oxidation number?
+6.
So should you find it again?
Oh no, we should find it again. It'll be different because this time overall is -2, right?
Nah. Why it will be different? It is a bacha of H2SO4 only, na?
Oh.
H2SO4 is parent compound. उसमें से H plus निकाला, you get sulfate. So can I say it's the bacha or a derivative of sulfuric acid only?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are not satisfied with that, do the calculation. Sulfur plus 4 times -2 now will be equated to,
-2.
what is the answer you are getting for sulfur?
+6 only.
So, बोलने की बात ये है कि next time when you come across sulfuric acid, and if you know that sulfur is +6, you can directly say that sulfate also has a charge.
+6.
Oxidation number is +6. -2 is for overall, but +6 is only for,
Sulfur.
है ना? मैंने सल्फर के ऊपर लिखा है.
Yeah.
Okay. Through sulfuric acid, if I remove one H plus, what is the anion formed?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
From sulfuric acid, if I remove one H plus, what do I get? एक H को निकालो. Just remove one H. What is the remaining part? H, S, O4.
Yeah.
And because of one H plus removed, the HSO4 will get a charge of
Negative.
-1.
Yeah.
And this particular anion is called bisulfate or a hydrogen sulfate.
Yeah, yeah.
पढ़ा है ये कि नया है
Yeah.
कुछ?
Yeah.
We learned.
We learn.
पढ़ा है ना? So understand the concept here. Sulfuric acid का बच्चा is bisulfate. Bisulfate से आता है sulfate. So can I say they all belong to the same family?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because of that, the sulfur will always remain in the
Plus
Plus
six.
6 oxidation state.
same oxidation number.
Yeah.
Matlab, if you know about sulfuric acid, you should say, I know about bisulfate, I know about sulfate. Ask me the oxidation number, I will tell you it's 6. I need not calculate again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
और एक चीज H2SO4 में से रिमूव वाटर H2O निकालो,
So
क्या बचता है?
SO3.
तो SO3
yeah.
भी तो इसका ही बच्चा है, यही फैमिली का है। तो इसमें भी सल्फर का पूछो ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर तो क्या बोलोगे?
Plus
Plus
6.
6.
मतलब फायदा देखो, आपको सिर्फ एक इंफॉर्मेशन अगर पता है तो उसके रिलेटेड यू कैन जस्ट क्लब द सिमिलर इंफॉर्मेशन and you
Yeah.
did not calculate the oxidation number again and again. This way you will become smart. डोंकी वर्क करना है कि स्मार्ट वर्क?
Smart.
है ना? तो सिंपल है।
Yeah.
अच्छा, एक और एग्जांपल देता हूं अब। चलो, who will help me? आरवी, आरवी,
Yes, sir.
okay, if I give you H2SO3, tell me the bachas of this family.
SO4, SO4 minus 2.
SO4 कहाँ से आया? कहाँ पे? ये H2SO3 लिखा है मैंने।
H2SO4.
नहीं, H2SO4 हो गया आरवी। This I am giving you sulfurous acid. आपका ध्यान है कि नहीं? Where do you see 4
Yes, sir.
oxygen? I am talking about sulfurous acid. Now, remove one H plus. What is the anion of this?
HSO3.
हाँ, खाली एक H निकालो, HSO3 minus. One more H plus you remove.
SO3.
Charge.
2 minus.
SO3, 2 minus.
And from the H2SO3, remove water. पानी निकालो. H2O,
SO2.
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 अब समझा फैमिली का मतलब?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
फर्स्ट वन को तो ऑब्वियसली हम बोलते हैं सल्फर।
Dioxide.
Dioxide.
अब सल्फ्यूरस एसिड के HSO3 माइनस को क्या बोलोगे?
Bisulfite.
बाइसल्फाइड इज आल्सो कॉल्ड हाइड्रोजन सल्फाइड। नाम क्लियर है अभी?
Yes, sir.
एंड द लास्ट वन
Sulfide.
सल्फाइड। And what was the sulfur oxidation number we found in the previous H2SO3? Check.
+6.
ना, सल्फ्यूरस एसिड बोल रहा हूँ अभी। अस
+4.
मतलब लोअर है ना, +4. Are you all
+4.
clear?
Yeah.
Now, can I just say that if I know sulfurous acid का sulfur is +4, sulfur dioxide में भी sulfur will be
+4.
+4.
bisulfide में भी,
+4.
+4.
sulfide में भी।
+4.
+4.
Are you clear with this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is the relation of oxidation number for the compounds belonging to the same family. Have I made it clear up till here?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, through this, we will just talk about some other rules to assign the oxidation number. Most of the rule मैंने already example के through आपको बता दिया. I'll just repeat the rules. First is the bachelor's rule. What does that say?
An uncombined element will have an oxidation state of 0.
Correct. Any element, uncombined state, oxidation state will be 0. Then if I have a neutral molecule, then the oxidation number ka sum.
0.
0.
If I have a polyatomic ion, sum
Then
will
the
be.
charge on the polyatomic ion.
Correct. If I have a monoatomic ion,
Then it's that number only. Like if it's Fe2 plus, then it's 2 plus.
correct. The charge itself is the oxidation number.
Yeah.
Okay. Now few other rules I'll just add on over here. Just say oxidation number of oxygen. Now, oxygen in most of the cases exists as oxide. In that case, the oxidation number we assign is
-2.
-2. Then oxygen में the other common term is peroxide.
Yeah.
H2O2 is the example. In that case, the oxygen has the oxidation
-1.
number -1. And there is third type of oxygen combined form, which is called superoxide. In that, the oxygen is given the oxidation number of -half. Okay? But so,
So
yeah,
in the textbook, they've given like a few examples. Those are the only examples we have to know, right? Like of peroxide and superoxide.
yes.
We don't have to know any more examples.
No, because superoxides are generally formed for heavy alkali metals only.
Okay.
Alkali metals are the group 1 elements. Okay, what are the group 1 elements of the periodic table?
Sodium, potassium,
Or
calcium.
nahi,
No,
Rubidium.
lithium.
rubidium. Okay, I'll give you the list. It's lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. Out of which francium is radioactive, so we mark with an asterisk. Okay, and group 2, which are called alkaline earth metals, we have beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. You should know these elements. ठीक है, इसका एक न्यूमोनिक भी मैं बताता हूँ. ग्रुप 1 the alkali metals. You can remember लीना का रबर किसने फेंका? लीना is lithium sodium, का रबर potassium rubidium किसने फेंका? cesium francium. Okay, group
Yeah.
2 is even better, BMC, strongly break rules. BMC, strongly break rules. So you remember BMC as beryllium, magnesium, calcium. Strongly is strontium. Break rules is barium and radium. Okay?
Yeah.
All these alkali metals, if they are in the free state, what is the charge you assign?
0.
Zero. But when they are in the combined state,
then if for group 1 it'll be +1 and group 2 will be +2.
superb. Meaning combined state में the group 1 elements has an oxidation number +1 and group 2 में it will be +2.
Yeah.
Okay? Coming back, superoxides are generally formed for heavy alkali metals, mainly potassium and rubidium. So you're not supposed to know for any other element because they are not formed for other elements. तो superoxide में सिर्फ potassium और rubidium ही formation करता है. समझा?
Yeah.
Now, having said that, one very important point. If I ask you what is the formula for potassium oxide, so to write the formula, we would write potassium and oxide ka O.
Yeah.
And then we'll assign the oxidation number. What is K ka oxidation number in
+1.
the combined state? +1, as I discussed now. Oxide ka?
-2.
So what is the formula you get?
K2O.
So that is called potassium oxide. Understood the
Yeah.
formula?
Yeah.
Next, if I ask potassium peroxide,
Okay.
so write potassium, then oxygen.
Hmm.
And write the oxidation number. What is K ke upar charge?
+1. Oh, and oxygen is -1.
Super.
So
What is the
it's
formula
KO.
you get?
KO.
KO. But
Oh.
peroxide and superoxide में एक और चीज याद रखो that these compounds always should have two oxygen atoms linked by a single bond. This is the condition, and this is how they would exist. So I want two oxygen in the peroxide, but how many oxygen I have with respect to the oxidation number?
1.
So to make it two, I should just double both the atoms,
Yeah.
Yeah.
meaning the formula would become.
A2O2.
Oh.
That's why hydrogen peroxide we write H2O2. Do you get the concept now?
Yeah.
So it's always going to be like something 2 oxygen, some like 2.
Yes, yes.
But then, so then how is barium oxide B8O2
Because barium has a total charge of,
plus 2
and peroxide has oxygen with
minus 2? Oh, minus 1. Sorry. Yeah.
crisscross.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So now you should recognize that K2O2 is potassium peroxide, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, BaO2 is barium peroxide.
Yeah. Okay.
है ना? You need not mug up कि BaO2 होगा, BaO होगा, Ba2 होगा. This
Yeah.
kind of confusion should not be there in your mind. Now it's
Hmm.
just based on oxidation number. Okay? Now
Yeah.
coming to potassium superoxide. So if I write potassium superoxide, I would write +1 over here and oxygen pe
No, minus 1.2.
1.2 nahi, minus half, 1
Minus
by
half.
2.
Yeah.
है ना? So
Yeah.
if you crisscross now, what do you get?
K 0.501.
0 नहीं है, O है वो.
Oh, sorry.
K half O.
Yeah.
But do we write the formula in the fraction?
No.
So what would I do is multiply 2 for both potassium and oxygen.
Yeah.
So if I multiply 2 with half, I would get
1.
1. And if I multiply 1 by 2,
2.
can I say K half O is equivalent to KO2?
Yes.
Now look at the three compounds. K2O, K2O2 and KO2. Are all the compounds different? K2O, K2O2, KO2. क्या ये तीनों अलग है?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, they are different because the first
Yeah.
one is called potassium
Oxide.
Oxide.
with O minus 2. Second one is
Potassium peroxide.
with OS.
Minus 1.
And third one is
Potassium superoxide with OS minus 1/2.
and potassium in all the three cases would have,
Plus 1.
Plus
because
1.
that's a fixed valency for potassium, right?
Yes.
Is the difference clear to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
कोई doubt इसमें?
No.
So after oxygen, we talk about hydrogen. Now, as per modern idea, hydrogen could behave as electropositive as well as
Negative.
Okay, मतलब hydrogen can have what oxidation numbers?
Plus 1 and minus 1.
Or 0
Super.
also.
Yes, तो बैचलर तो हमेशा है ही. हाइड्रोजन बैचलर होगा तो 0. बट अगर कंबाइंड फॉर्म में, शादीशुदा फॉर्म में होगा, कंबाइंड फॉर्म में, ठीक है, then it can either be a plus or a minus. So oxidation number of hydrogen when it is bonded to non-metals,
Then
which
it
are
will
more
have a positive
electronegative.
oxidation state.
Correct, meaning +1.
Yeah.
ठीक है, so example is HCl में hydrogen is +1, water में hydrogen is +1,
Yeah.
HF में hydrogen is +1, H2S में hydrogen is +1. अब समझता है how do we assign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it is bonded to metals, which are electropositive elements,
Minus
then,
1.
Minus 1.
which is called hydride,
Yeah.
है ना? तो metal के साथ if I write sodium hydrogen, it will be +1 for sodium, -1 for hydrogen.
Hmm.
What would be calcium hydride formula now?
CaH2.
ठीक है, तो अभी मगअप करने का आदत छोड़ना है. Calcium
Yeah.
is +2, hydrogen is -1, crisscross,
So
you get calcium hydride,
CaH3. Yeah.
aluminum hydride.
AlH3.
Super, because +3 -1 gives you
Yeah.
AlH3. समझा?
Yes.
Thirdly, we talk about oxidation number of halogens. Halogens are represented by letter X.
Okay.
Can be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. X is the general specific letter given to the halogens. The X
Hmm.
could be either fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. I hope you are well versed with group 17 halogens, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me talk about electronegativity, which is, acha, what is electronegativity?
Like basically the tendency to gain electrons, matlab non-metals.
Nahin, tendency to gain electron is wrong.
So
It's
like
tendency to attract electrons in a
okay.
covalent bond.
Okay.
Tendency to attract electrons in a
Attract it.
covalent bond. Okay. The simplest example is HCl. Tell me in hydrochloric acid, which is more electronegative element?
Chlorine.
Chlorine.
Chlorine, because hydrogen इस केस में electropositive है, because it's bonded to a non-metal chlorine ना.
Non-metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you'll understand why H is plus and chlorine is minus here. So, since chlorine is more electronegative, it will attract the electron towards itself.
Yeah. So it will be a non-metal because it's gaining like yeah.
It's attracting electrons, not gaining. Gaining
Yeah.
का concept अलग है. Attract electrons. Due to
Yeah.
which the electron density around chlorine would be higher and hydrogen के around electron density lower. It's like two balloons. One is inflated towards chlorine, meaning having more electron. ज्यादा हवा भरी हुई है कि वो हवा अपनी तरफ खींच रहा है. हवा मतलब यहाँ पर इलेक्ट्रॉन्स की बात हो रही है. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड?
Yes.
एंड हाइड्रोजन की तरफ हवा कम हो गई है, मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैव डिक्रीज्ड, तो क्लोरीन ने खींच लिया उससे. Due to which we say that chlorine acquires a delta, meaning a small negative charge. Hydrogen would acquire a small positive charge. And this
Okay.
covalent bond is said to become polar. And that's the reason when the HCl is dissolved in water, what do we get?
Hydrochloric acid.
No. When HCl is dissolved in water, पानी में डालते हैं HCl को, तो what happens? Doesn't it break down when dissolved in water?
Yeah.
And it breaks down into what? अच्छा, NaCl पानी में डालते हैं तो क्या बनता है?
NaCl.
Is it Na and Cl?
Yeah.
No.
It forms a solution with like of
The aqueous solution.
Yeah, अरे aqueous मतलब पानी ना. So
yeah.
I'm asking, when NaCl is dissolved in water, what do you get in the solution? Don't you get Na plus and Cl minus?
Yeah.
Now someone told me Na and Cl. Is that correct language?
No.
No, because you should say Na अलग होता है, Na plus अलग होता है. ये बैचलर स्टेट में है और ये शादीशुदा स्टेट में है. Do you understand the difference now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So speak the language. Na मत बोलो, क्योंकि now Na zero and Na plus one is different. Do you agree, everyone?
Yes.
क्योंकि सोडियम जब एक इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करेगा तब Na प्लस बनेगा. तो क्या Na और Na प्लस सेम है?
नहीं.
नहीं. ठीक है, तो अब अपनी लैंग्वेज को सुधारो तो आपके कॉन्सेप्ट्स एकदम परफेक्ट हो जाएंगे. यू विल नेवर हैव प्रॉब्लम्स विद अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
Yeah.
So likewise, मैंने पूछा, when HCl is dissolved in water, what do you get?
H plus and Cl minus.
Understood my question?
Yeah.
है ना? So now, what is the Cl minus called? Cl का negative charge is called
Chloride.
chloride. ठीक है।
हम्म।
H पे -1 को क्या बोला आपने? H-1।
हाइड्राइड।
Side.
S-2 को क्या बोलते हैं?
सल्फाइड।
Do you see any common thing in all the
आइड।
examples?
या
तो इससे क्या समझ में आता है कि आइड वर्ड किसको दिया जाता है?
Electron element.
नहीं, आइड वर्ड इज कॉमन फॉर ऑल द अनायंस।
Yes,
या
yes. Sorry.
कोई भी एलिमेंट का अनायन यू टेक, एनी एलिमेंट, द
आयोडाइड।
एलिमेंट का अनायन,
Yeah.
यस,
Yeah.
इट इज ऑलवेज एंडिंग विद द वर्ड आइड,
I.
है ना। नाइट्रोजन का नेगेटिव
नाइट्राइड।
चार्ज, नाइट्राइड। कार्बन,
Carbon.
फॉस्फोरस,
फॉस्फाइड।
Phosphide.
क्लोरीन,
क्लोराइड।
क्लोरीन,
फ्लोराइड।
ब्रोमीन,
ब्रोमाइड।
आयोडीन।
आयोडाइड।
आर यू क्लियर विद द कॉमन कॉन्सेप्ट?
या
तो वापस बोल रहा हूँ, जो मगअप करने का तरीका था आपका, अब भूल जाओ। You know that all the ide is basically the element का negative charge. Similarly, the ite and the ate also referred to the negative charges. Sulfite, sulfate.
ऑफ पॉलीएटॉमिक आयन।
Yes. Super. तो यहाँ पर आपने क्या ऑब्जर्व किया? ये मोनो एटॉमिक के लिए है,
या
यहाँ की नहीं। और ये
Yeah.
दोनों वर्ड जो है वो किसके लिए है?
पॉलीएटॉमिक।
मस्त हो गया ना।
या
अब सल्फर की फैमिली में ही ये तीनों वर्ड को अगर मैं रिलेट करूं तो सल्फाइड मतलब मोनो एटॉमिक, सल्फाइट मतलब पॉली एटॉमिक, सल्फेट मतलब पॉली एटॉमिक।
पॉलीएटॉमिक। या
नाम के साथ रिलेशन क्लियर हुआ?
या
दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू लर्न, दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड नाउ।
यस।
ओके,
Hmm.
so coming back, oxidation number of halogens in halides is
Yeah.
the name given to fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide will be equal to
-1.
One. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now coming back to electronegativity, which is the most electronegative element of the
Chlorine.
periodic table?
Chlorine.
Chlorine. उसके बाद?
Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yes. Many of you know the fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine wala sequence. But
Yeah.
remember that the second most electronegative element in the periodic table is oxygen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, if I talk about fluorine and oxygen ka bonding, then fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen.
Yeah. So if they're together, then fluorine will be the negative ion.
Yes. And oxygen will acquire a.
Positive charge.
तो अगर पीछे मैं जाऊं, ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर ऑफ ऑक्सीजन जनरली आपको आइड के हिसाब से पता है नेगेटिव है। ये देखो, ये आइड है, ये आइड है, ये आइड है, ये
Yeah.
सब अपने नेगेटिव थे। लेकिन ऑक्सीजन पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है, बट ओनली व्हेन बॉन्डेड टू।
Fluorine. Or electronegative. हाँ. Fluorine.
हाँ, और ऑक्सीजन के ऊपर एक ही बाप है, मतलब ऑक्सीजन के ऊपर एक ही इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव एलिमेंट है, दैट इज।
Fluorine.
If I talk about OF2 compound, if you crisscross, the F gets a -1, the O gets a
+2.
+2.
+2. And will the compound be called oxide or a fluoride?
Fluoride, because fluoride is the negative ion.
Superb. That's why this compound would be called oxygen difluoride. देखो, आपने रटा नहीं, लेकिन आपने समझा,
Yeah.
Hmm.
है ना। और ऑक्सीजन के केस में O2F2 करके भी है, this would be called dioxygen difluoride.
Okay.
This is oxygen 1 F2 ना, तो I call oxygen difluoride.
Yeah.
इसको क्या बोलोगे?
Dio.
Dioxygen difluoride, because there are two of each.
करेक्ट। समझा यहाँ तक?
Yeah.
ठीक है। Now, if I have a compound which is formed between oxygen and chlorine, which will be negative, which will be positive?
Oxygen will be negative because it is more electronegative than fluorine.
And will it be called oxide or a chloride?
Oxide, because that's negative.
Superb. So if I want a compound between chlorine and oxygen, should it be written as OCl2 or Cl2O? Which is the correct form?
Cl2O, because the negative always comes later.
Correct. So I think everyone knows the convention that sodium chloride is always written as NaCl. Do we ever write ClNa?
No.
No.
No. So the reason is the electropositive on the left and the electronegative on the right. Likewise, now you know oxygen chlorine mein, oxygen will be negative. So it should be on the right, -2, and the chlorine with the +1 here. So this is wrong convention to write. And can you name this compound now?
Dichlorine oxide.
डाइक्लोरीन ऑक्साइड. तो आपको नाम पता ही नहीं था, लेकिन कॉन्सेप्ट पता है तो नाम आ गया कि नहीं?
Yeah.
Similarly, we can have a compound formed between two halogens as well. मतलब ब्रोमीन आयोडीन का भी कंपाउंड बनता है.
Oh. So if bromine is more electronegative, then that will be the negative one, and
Yes,
iodine will be positive.
correct. And the compound would be called bromide or iodide.
Bromide.
Bromide
Super.
because it's negative.
So, if I ask you, what will be ClBr3 called?
Chlorine bromide, chlorine tetrabromide.
Tetra नहीं, try.
Oh, sorry.
बराबर?
Yeah.
Am I clear on that?
Yeah.
And if I write IF7,
Then iodine. What is it for like 7?
hepta.
Heptasulfide. Heptafluoride.
Okay.
So you are aware with the names now because you have understood.
Yeah.
Na? And if you just crisscross, you'll also get the oxidation numbers here, chlorine ka and bromine ka.
Yeah. Chlorine is chlorine is +7 and +3 and bromide is -1.
Superb. And the other one?
+7 and -1.
Perfect. Clear with
Yeah.
the rules over here?
Yeah.
So mainly you should always be aware about the rules of oxygen, hydrogen, halogen. ये तीन चीज important है जो मैंने यहाँ बताया. Oxygen, then hydrogen, and then halogens.
Halogen. Yeah.
Okay?
Hmm.
Now, a last concept, which is important, understand. We observed that halogens is having a
Just
positive.
one question.
Yeah.
In the textbook, there are things like oxo acids and oxo anions and all, like HClO4.
Yeah.
So what is like, it has H, it has Cl, and it has oxygen. So I mean,
Perfect. So
how would you like?
H2SO4 is oxo acid. HClO4 is oxo acid. HNO3 is oxo acid.
So oxo acids have like 3 different.
Yes, hydrogen oxygen ke saath, if you have a non-metal, they are oxo acids.
Oh, okay, fine.
But will HCl be called an oxo acid?
No, because it doesn't have oxygen.
Super. बस इतना ही है.
Okay.
समझा? ऑक्सो का मतलब ऑक्सीजन वाले एसिड्स. तो सल्फ्यूरिक, नाइट्रिक, जो भी कॉमन एसिड्स आपको पता है ना, सब ऑक्सो एसिड्स है, खाली
Okay.
HCl को छोड़ के.
Yeah.
बिकॉज उसमें ऑक्सीजन नहीं है. सिंपल.
Hmm.
अच्छा, ऑक्सो अनायन किसको बोलते हैं? ये दोनों ऑक्सो अनायन है. ऑक्सीजन के अनायन बोल सकते हैं. और ऑक्सीजन पे अगर प्लस दिखा तो कैन आई से ऑक्सो कटायन?
Yeah.
सो नाम को ना थोड़ा ब्रेक करके समझो. ऑक्सो अनायन, ऑक्सीजन वाले अनायन. ऑक्सो कटायन, ऑक्सीजन वाले कटायन. That makes it very simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, every element has a range of oxidation numbers. And this range of oxidation number is very important for you to understand.
It's basically like its group number minus 10.
Yeah, that will give the maximum oxidation number.
Yeah.
And that too for the P block elements. I'll come to that. But just make simple सा trick बता रहा हूँ आपको. सल्फर की बात करते हैं. तो आई एम टॉकिंग दिस फॉर एनी एलिमेंट. पहले एग्जांपल बता दो, फिर जनरलाइज करके कोई भी एग्जांपल ले लो, आपको मिलेगा. ठीक है? Now tell me, sulfur ka atomic number is what? Do you know the first 30 elements?
No.
First 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does
Sulfur.
sulfur come in first 20?
Yeah.
So what is sulfur atomic number?
16.
Yes. So please memorize these elements from
Yeah.
the first 20 elements because they will be very commonly used. Ideally, पहले 30 एलिमेंट इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके लिए बट 20 तो याद रखना ही है पहले. Okay?
Okay.
So now, sulfur through the first 20 elements, if you now remember, you will see the atomic number is
16.
16. How do you write the electronic configuration for 16?
2, 8, 6.
So how many valence electron does it have?
6.
6.
Oh, yeah, 6.
How many electrons are required to complete the octet?
2.
2.
2, sorry.
So the sulfur gets a minimum oxidation number as -2. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we now know that sulfur as a non-metal can also show a positive oxidation number.
Yeah.
That positive oxidation number is due to loss of electron or gain of electrons.
Loss of electrons. So it can
So,
lose 6 electrons.
yes, it can lose a maximum of 6 electron, achieving a maximum oxidation number of
Plus 6.
+6.
+6.
Oh, okay.
Got it? Matlab, just with the number 6, you get the max +6 and minimum -2. Understood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
अब एक analogy बना देते हैं. Now onwards, you always visualize sulfur in the form of a sulfur ka building.
Hmm.
It's the maximum the top floor of the sulfur building is.
6.
6.
And the basement level of.
-2.
-2.
And of course, there will be a ground floor in between, that is 0. Building samjha.
Yeah.
Now, if you enter the sulfur building, can you go to the 7th floor?
No.
Can you go to the 8th floor?
No.
It means that it can't go beyond.
But
+6.
you can't go beyond +6. 6th floor. Yeah.
है ना? 6th फ्लोर के ऊपर अगर फ्लोर ही नहीं है तो आप अपने बिल्डिंग में उससे ऊपर जा सकते हो क्या?
नहीं.
नहीं. So if you are on the 6th floor, you can only go
Down.
down. And down is, with respect to redox, down is
Down is reduction.
reduction. मतलब
Yeah.
+6 में you can only undergo reduction, meaning sulfur can only undergo reduction. And the one which undergoes reduction behaves as a good oxidizing or a reducing agent.
Oxidizing agent.
Correct. मतलब sulfur in the +6 would behave only as
An oxidizing agent.
and not as.
A reducing agent.
Likewise, if you are at the basement -2, can you go down further?
No.
You can only go
Up.
up, and up is.
Oxidation.
In that case, the sulfur would behave only as a
Reducing agent.
reducing agent. And
Yeah.
if you are at the 0th floor, can you go up?
You can go up and down both.
Correct. So you can undergo oxidation as
And
well as reduction. So you can behave as both
Yeah.
oxidizing agent plus reducing agent. तो आप लोगों ने स्कूल में खाली डायरेक्टली पढ़ा है कि सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड इज अ गुड ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट, है? Potassium dichromate is a good oxidizing agent. Potassium permanganate is a good oxidizing agent. Heard of these statements?
Yes.
Now understand the reason.
So wait, I have a
Sulfuric
question.
acid.
For example, so let's say like non-metals, since they gain electrons, and that's why their maximum oxidation state is usually very high. So they're always good oxidizing agents. But metals, since metals lose electrons, their maximum oxidation state is going to be very low. So they're
Correct.
better reducing agents.
Yeah, but this particular statement is restricted only to the alkali and alkaline earth metals like lithium, magnesium, calcium.
Oh.
But for the other metals like chromium and manganese, if you observe, chromium we had calculated in some example. ये रहा.
Oh, that was +6. Yeah.
So it is a higher.
Oh, yeah,
ठीक
okay.
है. तो सारे metals के लिए वैलिड नहीं है.
Okay.
Okay?
So
Okay.
transition metals के लिए it's not valid because they have variable oxidation states.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
And alkali alkaline में fixed होने की वजह से वहां पर वो ऑक्सीडाइजिंग बिहेवियर नहीं कर सकते.
Yeah.
So, conclusion, in sulfuric acid, we had calculated sulfur ka oxidation number. It
Yeah.
was coming out to be,
+6 in
Plus-
sulfur. Yeah.
so can I say sulfur is now standing at the highest floor of its building?
Yeah.
Yes.
In that case, it can only undergo reduction and behave as a very good.
Oxidizing agent.
That's the reason sulfuric acid is a good.
Oxidizing agent. Okay.
And H2S, sulfur has -2. Now
Minus
it
2.
is at the bottom of the building, so it can only go
Up.
up, undergo.
Oxidation.
So it behaves as a good.
Reducing agent.
Reducing agent.
But in the sulfur building, sulfur is at the middle of the building.
So it can act as both a good oxidizing and good reducing.
So the example would be bachelor sulfur, which exists as S8 octatomic,
Yeah.
या फिर SO2
2. Yeah.
with sulfur +4.
Answer.
So the concept is you just get the oxidation number and all your doubts would be solved. You can answer any question of redox if you understand a simple oxidation number concept.
So also, whatever has a higher oxidation state is a better oxidizing agent, and whatever has a lower oxidation state, it's a better reducing agent.
Lower nahi, minimum.
Minimum.
Lower nahi, minimum.
No, but like for example, if something has an oxidation state of +4, then it's a better oxidizing agent than something that has an oxidation state of -1.
That will depend ki +4 say it's going up or down. If it is going to +6, then you say it behaves as
A better reducing agent.
correct. And if
Oh.
it goes down to let's say 0,
Then better oxidizing agent.
समझा अब?
Yeah.
तो डिपेंड करता है कि आप 4th फ्लोर से ऊपर जा रहे हो कि नीचे जा रहे हो. सिंपल लिफ्ट का एनालॉजी है. अगर ये रेडॉक्स समझना है ना, लिफ्ट में खेलो आज. Just be in the lift. If you are at the max floor, you say, I can only go down. And then say, I can only undergo reduction. Then say, I can behave only as oxidizing agent.
Yeah.
So the perspective is important. Where are you? At the highest, at the lowest, or in the middle? That's it. From there, where are you going, up or down? Uske basis pe you decide.
Okay.
Okay. Now, similar concept if I apply for chlorine, atomic number. Next, sulfur के next element ही है ये. 17. So configuration would be
2, 8, 7.
and just by looking at 7, tell me the max and the min.
Maximum
Maximum is +7 and minimum is -1.
And middle can be between -1 to +7.
Yeah.
So now if I give you HClO4, the chlorine comes out to be +7. And now you can clearly say that perchloric acid acts as a good
oxidizing agent.
HCl में Cl -1 होता है, तो it behaves as a good
Reducing agent.
समझा?
Yeah.
और मिडल में क्लोरीन Cl2 के फॉर्म में हो सकता है या Cl2O के फॉर्म में हो सकता है, जहाँ पे 0, +1, +3, +5 कुछ भी हो, they will act as both.
Both reducing and oxidizing.
समझ में आया how to crack the questions now?
Yeah.
So the bottom line is just check the
Oxidation number.
Super. Here, and similarly, phosphorus, it's before sulfur, before sulfur.
Hmm.
So,
Before say 15.
15, configuration,
2, 8,
Right.
5.
range,
Maximum +5, minimum -3.
समझा ये अभी ये,
Yeah,
ठीक है?
yeah.
Fine. Now, lastly, one small concept about the fractional oxidation number. If I say that oxidation number is coming out to be -half, +half, +3/4, or any fraction, is that a possible?
No.
Why?
Because
Because
you can't give half electrons. You can't give or gain half electrons.
Correct. Oxidation number is basically via loss or gain of electron.
Yeah.
तो fractional में वो loss or gain हो ही नहीं सकता. But still, there are many compounds which gets a fractional oxidation number. One of them we have already studied.
yeah,
Superoxide में.
Superoxide.
तो अब उसका फंडा क्या है वो समझते हैं. So let me give you an example. If I have a compound like C3O2, these are all new compounds for you.
Hmm.
आप पहले नाम समझो. C3O2 is called carbon suboxide. This you have to remember. Carbon
Suboxide.
suboxide. अब इस कार्बन suboxide में ऑक्सीजन का -2 we know. So can we calculate carbon?
Yeah.
बोलो. What will be the equation form?
3C plus 2O equals to 0.
So 2 into
Then
-2 लिख दो direct.
हाँ ठीक है. So
Then
so 3C minus 4 equals to 0. C equals to 4/3.
correct. So you
Yeah.
observe that carbon is getting the fractional oxidation number.
Yeah.
So theoretically it's fine. Practically 4/3 possible
No.
नहीं होता है. So
No.
now this is revealed via structures. Matlab, you need to know the structures to know the concept. I'll give you the structure of carbon suboxide. So carbon suboxide में होता क्या है? The 3 carbon atoms are joined via double bond, and the oxygens are present at the end via double bond again. This is
Okay.
the structure, and this you are supposed to know. Now, the middle carbon, it's connected to only carbon and not to any other element.
Yeah.
So if it is attached to itself, what is the oxidation number you are going to assign?
0.
0.
So can I say अभी ये middle carbon bachelor है
Yeah.
और bachelor को तो oxidation number क्या मिलता है?
0.
0.
0. लेकिन ये वाला carbon bachelor नहीं है because it is bonded to another element,
Oxygen. Yeah.
and oxygen has -2, carbon should get a
Hmm.
+2, and the other side again oxygen -2, carbon should get
Plus 2.
+2.
+2. So actually the 3 carbons are a distribution of the charge of +4 as 2, 0
Oh.
and 2. So यहाँ पर I speak about an analogy that I had 4 chocolates to distribute to 3
Yeah.
carbon atoms.
Yeah.
So I distributed them as 2, 0 and 2.
Hmm.
But if I take the average, the total was 4 divided into 3 carbon.
Yeah.
It comes out to be.
4/3.
So fractional is actually the average oxidation number.
Hmm.
And it is never the real oxidation number. ये धोखा है. और रियल ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर आपको स्ट्रक्चर से ही मिलेगा जो मैंने यहाँ बताया.
Yeah.
ये समझा?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you understand that oxidation numbers can't be fractional, but there are compounds which has the fraction oxidation number.
Yeah.
तो वो समझने के लिए we need to know the structures, and it's just about a simple distribution of the charge.
Okay. Got it.
अब एक रैंडम कंपाउंड मैं आपको बताऊं ना तो भी आप बता सकते हो उसका पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट Br3O8 दिस वुड बी कॉल्ड ट्राइब्रोमीन ऑक्टाऑक्साइड अब ये नाम समझता है
हम्म
8 ऑक्सीजन ऑक्साइड के फॉर्म में ठीक है अब कैलकुलेशन 3Br plus 8 into -2 equals to 0
yeah
so 3Br will be 16 so 1Br will get
16/3
फ्रैक्शनल आया
yeah
हाँ
अब बेसिकली यहाँ पर कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि 16 चॉकलेट्स आर डिवाइडेड इनटू
3 Br atoms
करेक्ट अब ये 16 कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हुआ है उसके लिए वी नीड टू नो
the structure
so I'll give you the structure Br single bond Br single bond Br the end Br are attached to the oxygens by double bond 3 oxygens the remaining 2 oxygen at the center by double bond
so but how
don't
many
worry
molecules
about the
we are
structure
formed okay
don't worry about the structure because that concept you will understand in chemical bonding यहाँ पर you are supposed to understand oxidation number
hmm.
अब मुझे बताओ will the central Br have a zero oxidation number now
No, because it's connected. It's connecting to oxygen, so it'll have an oxidation number.
ठीक है and the oxygen over here -2 so the Br should get
+4,
superb oxygen -2 Br should get
so +6,
-2 oxygen Br should get
+6.
are you clear with the distribution of 16 chocolates now
Yeah,
the 16 were actually distributed as 6 4 and
6,
6 but average out करेंगे तो आप बोलोगे 16/3
3. Got it.
बस ये है कॉन्सेप्ट फ्रैक्शनल ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर का क्लियर
Yeah.
so most of the thing I have covered only 1-2 part of the chapter is left that I will discuss but whatever is required for you to solve the majority part of the DPPs or the MCQ you have already got the booklets right
Yeah.
so you have got one book as the synopsis book where 4 chapters are together
Hmm.
that is the theory booklet
Yeah.
okay whatever I have discussed everything you will find in the synopsis book then you have got the practice book of the redox
Yes.
that is the DPP which has MCQs okay so first go through the synopsis I'll send you the PPT also just after the session after making the synopsis after clearing all your concepts you start with solving of the DPP MCQs
Yes.
okay and then in the coming week I'll take the doubt solving of whatever doubts you all have
Okay. Thank you.
okay so अपना जो ये week में lecture है it's all connected with oxidation number if you are well versed with the concept of oxidation number the entire आगे का part you will understand कोई problem नहीं होगा आज का दिन है please make sure that you complete the synopsis today itself so that next lecture में you will understand all the concepts
Yeah.
and whatever doubts you have you can ask me after the lecture whenever I have my lecture scheduled in the coming week
Yeah.
okay
Hmm.
ठीक है
Bye,
fine
sir.
so yes bye bye